This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
A very happy New Year to you. Forget about the oil prices. Forget about the stock prices. Let's get real. The Consumer and Electronics Convention is on in Las Vegas. And that, my friends, is the real deal. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How are you?
Cold.
Cold? Yeah, I hear it's springtime weather up in Beantown there, Charles.
Yeah, 13.
13. Oh, my God. Oh.
Hey, it's not so bad. It's not so much better in Las Vegas. Oh, sure. I mean, we were at 45 early in the morning going up to 70.
There you go. Well, actually, tomorrow night we're supposed to drop down to 46, and then, we'll be in the normal like 72.
Yeah, they
74.
say tomorrow and Thursday there will be freezing temperatures all the way to the North Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
Freezing
yeah.
temperatures.
Yeah. Well, and actually, the governor is having his major ceremony this morning up in Tallahassee, and it's in the 40s. So, yeah, and actually, I remember being
Is Tallahassee really Florida?
No, it's South Georgia.
So.
It is South Georgia. Everybody claims it's Florida. Someday, the legislators will finally get their act together and move the capital to Orlando, where it should be, and put it right next to Mickey Mouse,
Well,
where it should be.
It.
Oh, but
that's if Disney will allow it.
If Disney will allow it, or the Orlando Magic.
There's a guy who writes a lot of books that I read, David Baldacci.
Uh-huh.
And he wrote a book, must be 15 years ago, about the mouse. And it was a short one, and it talked about the whole... The name Disney is never mentioned in it. It is the Orlando Redevelopment Association.
Right. Yeah.
And they talk about, their own police force and everything else that they absolutely control. Anyway, be all that as it may, 2 weeks ago we mentioned in the letter that last year looked a lot like this year, or this year looked a lot like last year, closing out at the high and somebody just flipping a switch and turning it down.
Yep.
So in the Dow, that occurred with that closing high of 16,576. And of course, the month of January was horrendous, and the market bottomed the first week of February at 15.3, so about 1,300 points.
Yep.
And we got set up exactly the same way here, same distance from the October low to the new high, same distance the year before from the October low to the new high, in percentage terms.
Right.
And so everybody's talking about the January, as goes the first day, goes the first 3 days, and as go 3 days, goes the month, and as the month goes the year.
Right.
I'm looking at the chart here, and, that might have been true in 2014 for about 4 weeks. And then we were up,
Then
11%?
Then it was off to the races.
So this move down in the market, while somewhat unpleasant, doesn't really spell anything for me relative to the market. The dollar's strength is, of course, a problem. But the positions that we have on are terrific. We're in Gilead. We bought the Gilead 96 calls for January at $1.58. I sold the first half of them on the 100% up rule, or right around the 100% up rule, at $3. And then when the stock rallied up to 99, I sold the January 100s for $2 and about 50 cents.
All right, so
basically,
who's Gilead?
Gilead is the company that has the $84,000 cure for hepatitis C.
Ooh.
Okay, so the stock moved down because Walgreens, or I'm pretty sure it was Walgreens, made a deal with a competitor to exclusively carry theirs at a discount.
Okay.
And that knocked it down just, a bit, from 100 back to about 95 or so, 96 or so. Actually, I think 93 or so. And then this morning, CVS, or yesterday, CVS came out and said, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing with Gilead's 2 drugs, and they named the 2 drugs, and of course the stock is now trading at 99.
Wow.
So here's our position. We are long the 96 calls that expire a week from Friday at a price of about $1.58, but in reality we have no money in the trade because we had that 100% rule profit
right
the last week of the year.
Right. Okay.
And we have sold the hundreds for $2.48 or $2.46. So basically, they're paying us $1 to be in a $4 spread that if the stock were to close right here, we would get that whole $4. The 96s would be worth $4, and the other ones would be worth nothing.
Wow.
So that's a $5 return, essentially, on zero money in the trade.
Very cool.
The other one that we're in is Salix Pharmaceutical, SLXP. And that's one that I really like. We actually own the stock in that one at 100.80. And the last on that one is 116 and a half.
Whoa!
It's up $3.60 today. It's been as high as 117.70. But we don't have any option position there because the options were absurdly overpriced. I mean, I was looking at the 125s, and they were $4 when the stock was 115, 116.
Wow.
So that's not something that we're going to play that way. But this is a company that there was a lot of takeover talk about it. And then there was an issue about some of their inventory. And so what they did was they have pretty much disposed of the inventory. And, of course, now everybody's talking about it being a buyout candidate. And, with a $16 or roughly a $16 profit in it, this is one that we're just going to let go. I mean, it could easily be 140 or 150, which is where it was on the last talk of takeover. There's not a chance that I would let this go to a loss. So, we're doing pretty nicely there. And all of this stuff looks... Yeah, and by the way, we also put out a text a few minutes ago to buy the Apple, 50 shares of the Apple at 104.11, currently 105.95. We sold that one at 116.90.
Whoa!
So we're just looking to buy that back on the pullback.
Very
fantastic.
cool.
I think we have Ryan Schadel calling in.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, Ryan.
From Labor Smart. Thank you, Charles, for the great work.
Talk to you later, and I'm going to jump off because my wife is being transferred to a rehab facility today with her new liver.
Oh, boy.
Congratulations.
Gosh. Our prayers have been with her since long before the holidays. So
and it worked out just well. Talk to you
Perfect.
soon. I'll
Perfect.
talk to you next week.
All right, Charles. God bless. Oh, man. Wow.
This is Ryan Schadel with Labor Smart.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
Doing fine. How are you?
Hey, doing okay. I was thinking of you guys when we saw the first major snowfall in Buffalo. I was thinking, I wonder if Ryan's going to get involved in that mess up there.
Well, anything's possible.
Oh.
We don't have any actual locations in that area, but I can tell you there have been times where we would, dispatch a few hundred workers, to remote areas,